Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Top Rank's Bob Arum says that Dana White of the UFC is coming to boxing to save his own company. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working. Also, shout out to TMZ Sports. Link in the description. Bob Arum of Top Rank, he gets at Dana White. The two don't like each other. They have had a long-standing public beef where if the other person is mentioned, they were like, fuck Arum, and Bob Arum says his piece to Dana White. Now, in this TMZ exclusive interview, he's basically saying that Dana White is admitting boxing is the better sport and the more popular sport. Otherwise, why would he want to get into it? Bob Arum says, and I quote, "By coming in the business, he is really admitting that boxing is the more popular sport. And in order to keep his company alive, he has to go into the business of boxing." Right? Then they asked him about, Dana White said something about he likes Anthony Joshua a lot. He looks the part for a heavyweight, and he would love to see a fight with Joshua and Wilder. And they asked Bob Arum about that. He says if he puts up enough money, meaning Dana White, he will certainly land that fight. It's all a question of the money, particularly in the heavyweight division. If he's willing to gamble a lot of money, then he might be able to promote a fight like Joshua Wilder. If the handlers of Wilder and Joshua see how much money he's willing to put up to make that a reality. Now, I didn't see this interview, but it's on the same page. Dana White has an interview with TMZ where he was talking about meeting with Floyd Mayweather. He says he likes Anthony Joshua a lot. He thinks he's the most marketable guy in boxing right now. And he said he also likes Deontay Wilder. So I want to know what you guys think. Bob Arum, he's saying that Dana White, he's getting into boxing basically to save his own ass and because the UFC is, I guess, declining. My thoughts, I mean, I'm not trying to make this into a boxing versus UFC video, but I will say this. All the people that say boxing is dead, you look stupid. 2017 was one of the greatest years in boxing in a while, and we've already received notification that there's a ton of new fights coming up in 2018 that should be continuing that same momentum and drawing a lot of interest. And Bob Arum does bring up a point in terms of if Dana White is getting into boxing, like why is he diversifying like that? Why is he looking to get in this? You know what I mean? Especially for all the MMA fans that say boxing is dead. I mean, you can no longer say that, because why would one of your own, somebody who promotes and has promoted the MMA and UFC for years, why would they be looking to get into a dead sport? You know what I mean? If boxing is losing interest, losing money, not getting network deals, not putting on great fights, then why would Dana White, who's part of a company that's worth billions, why would he be looking to cash in and actually get into the business of boxing? It simply makes no sense. You couldn't rationalize it. So Bob Arum actually has a point. I don't know if the UFC is hurting like that. In my personal opinion, I don't think they had a good 2017. I thought their 2016 was great, but I don't think their 2016 was stellar. I mean, you look at it, they have fights with, like, let's say Amanda Nunes. Her fight was kind of controversial. Ronda Rousey, well, she got knocked out on New Year's Eve or something in 2016. So that was like real close to last year. Conor McGregor got beat by a boxer and stopped, and he hasn't been in the octagon since. John Jones did great in a rematch with Daniel Cormier, but then it was later revealed that he got flagged by VADA. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a stellar year for there's a lot of upsets. You know what I mean? Michael Bisping was doing great, then he got upset, then he lost again immediately after. You had TJ Dillashaw upset Cody Garbrandt. You know what I mean? Just a a lot going on in the UFC. So the last thing I'll say is this: I'm not opposed to Dana White coming to boxing, because this is the sport I cover primarily. I don't have nothing against the UFC, but you see it in the name. It's Boxingego. So that's the primary focus. I do talk about UFC, some big high-profile fights and upcoming UFC news, but my main stake is in boxing. So the more the merrier. I don't have I'm not a promoter, so he ain't competition to me. If anything, he's job security to me, because I just ask that he does it the right way, you know what I mean? And he definitely has the resources and knowledge of promoting fights and fight cards to the point where it could be beneficial for boxing fans. So I'm willing to see it through and see what he brings to the table, point blank, period. You know what I mean? One thing I do like about the UFC is they always have good flyers, good promotional videos, video editing, the embedded series, and even where they stage fights. You know what I mean? They go to Japan and Tokyo, Brazil, different places like that. You know what I mean? Boston. They go to different places where boxing hasn't really expanded, and I'm sure you could make it pop for, like, let's say Boston. You could put a Irish fighter like Mick Connellan in Boston. I'm sure they have a venue somewhere, and I think that would be big. You know what I mean? Or a Carl Frampton or whoever, right? There's a high Irish population in Boston. So those are just a few things that I think that the UFC does well. They know their market. They do the right data research, and they stage these in areas where it'll probably get the maximum amount of hits. Let me know what you guys think of Bob Arum, him dissing Dana White and saying you need to come to boxing. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.